Listen, I have seen some ridiculous things in my 300 cycles serving aboard the Galactic Council observation fleet. I have watched species try to negotiate peace treaties, while simultaneously plotting each other's destruction. I have witnessed civilizations collapse, because they could not agree on which direction their toilet paper should hang. But nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, prepared me for what happened when the Kraxxon Dominion encountered a human child. My name is Vorp, and I am what you would call a xenobiologist. My job involves studying newly contacted species, documenting their behaviors, and filing approximately 17,000 reports that nobody ever reads. The day everything went sideways started like any other boring shift on the observation deck. The Kraxxons had just finished their latest conquest. These guys were legends across 47 star systems. They stood exactly 4.2 inches tall, weighed less than a standard data pad, and possessed enough military prowess to make battle-hardened generals weep into their sleep pods. For 600 years, they had carved through the galaxy like a hot plasma cutter through frozen methane. Their armor was impenetrable. Their weapons could vaporize targets 3 times their size. Their battle cries could shatter reinforced glass at 20 paces. They were terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Commander Zirth, their supreme leader, had mandated a ground assault on Earth. Why Earth? Because some junior tactical officer had intercepted human broadcasts and determined that this species posed a potential threat due to their rapid technological advancement and concerning tendency to blow things up for entertainment purposes. The Kraxxons did not take chances. They eliminated problems before problems knew they existed. I was assigned to monitor the first contact scenario. My observation equipment was state-of-the-art, capable of detecting quantum fluctuations in parallel dimensions. I could count the molecules in a glass of water from 3 light-years away. Standard stuff, really. The Kraxxon strike force materialized in a human dwelling located in what their databases identified as Suburban, Ohio. 40 elite warriors, armed to their tiny teeth, appeared in formation on a soft surface that my scanners identified as carpet. The mission briefing had been clear. Establish dominance. Secure the perimeter. Neutralize any resistance. What the briefing had not mentioned was the presence of a human offspring. The child's designation, according to intercepted family communications, was Marcus. Age, approximately 2.7 Earth years. Height, roughly 34 inches. Weight, considerably more than the entire Kraxxon strike force combined. I watched through my sensors, as Commander Zirth raised his microblade and prepared to deliver the standard Conquest speech. His voice, amplified through his helmet speakers, echoed through the dwelling. Attention, primitive life forms. You have been selected for assimilation into the Kraxxon Dominion. Surrender immediately and your deaths will be swift and relatively painless. Resistance is futile and also quite stupid. Excellent speech. Very intimidating. The Kraxxons had refined it over centuries. It typically resulted in immediate capitulation, or at least some satisfying screaming. Marcus, however, did not scream. Marcus giggled. Let me tell you something about that sound. That high-pitched, bubbling expression of human juvenile amusement. That noise contains more pure chaotic energy than a supernova. It should be classified as a weapon. I have studied it extensively since that day, and I still do not understand how something so small can produce something so unsettling. Commander Zirth hesitated. In 600 years of military campaigns, he had never encountered an enemy that responded to threats with laughter. His tactical processors, which could calculate optimal battle strategies in nanoseconds, completely froze. Then the child moved, Marcus dropped to his knees, and the resulting impact registered on my seismic sensors. His face, complete with what humans call a runny nose and something sticky around his mouth, loomed over the strike force like a fleshy moon. His eyes, wide and curious, focused on the warriors with disturbing intensity. Toys. Marcus announced with the kind of joy typically reserved for discovering new star systems. His hand, massive and surprisingly fast, descended toward the formation. Evasive maneuvers. Commander Zirth screamed into his communicator. Pattern Delta 7. Full dispersal. The Kraxxons scattered with impressive precision, their tiny legs carrying them across the carpet at speeds that would make Olympic sprinters jealous. But Marcus was faster. His fingers closed around 3 warriors before they could reach cover behind a discarded sock. Lieutenant Brix, Sergeant Thorne, and Private Kellen found themselves lifted into the air, dangling from between chubby fingers that smelled disturbingly of something called apple juice. They fired their plasma rifles at full power. The beams, capable of punching through 6 inches of reinforced steel, harmlessly bounced off the child's skin. Put us down, giant creature. Lieutenant Brix demanded, waving his weapon. This is your final warning. Marcus shook them gently, producing a rattling sound that he apparently found delightful. Then he did something that would haunt Kraxxon military academies for generations. He made them kiss each other. More. Marcus supplied the sound effects himself, smashing the tiny warriors together in a gesture that their cultural database would later identify as affection simulation. From my observation post, I recorded everything. My tentacles were shaking. Not from fear, mind you, but from the effort of not activating my laughter glands. The Kraxxon Dominion, scourge of the galaxy, was being defeated by a toddler who had recently figured out how to use a spoon. Commander Zirth attempted to regroup his remaining forces behind a furniture item humans call a couch. His tactical display showed 37 warriors still operational, 3 captured, and 0 viable attack strategies. The mission parameters had not included scenarios involving beings who treated elite soldiers as playthings. Central Command, this is Strike Force Alpha, Zirth reported through gritted mandibles. We have encountered an unexpected complication. Requesting immediate extraction and orbital bombardment of these coordinates. The response from the Kraxxon home world came quickly. Negative, Commander. Orbital weapons are calibrated for targets no smaller than medium-sized cities. We cannot risk damaging the surrounding infrastructure. Complete your mission with available resources. Zirth looked at his remaining troops, then at the gigantic toddler, who was now making his captured soldiers fly through the air while providing his own sound effects. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Space guys go we. Private Kellen, suspended in mid-air and experiencing approximately 7 gs of chaotic acceleration, managed to activate his emergency beacon. This is a code red situation. We are being played with. Repeat, we are being played with. Marcus noticed the blinking light on Kellen's armor. His eyes widened with fresh interest. He brought the warrior closer to his face, studying the tiny equipment with the intense focus that human children bring to anything shiny or blinky. Then Marcus sneezed. The resulting biological explosion launched all 3 captive warriors across the room. They tumbled through the air, covered in what my sensors reluctantly identified as mucus, before crash landing on various soft surfaces. Lieutenant Briggs ended up face down in a pile of building blocks. Sergeant Thorne collided with a stuffed animal that outweighed him by several hundred pounds. Private Kellen achieved enough velocity to stick to the wall, held in place by the adhesive properties of toddler snot. Retreat. Commander Zirth finally admitted what everyone else already knew. Tactical withdrawal. Regroup at the extraction point. The remaining Kraxxons ran for their lives. Behind them, Marcus began crawling in pursuit, moving with the single-minded determination that human offspring apply to literally everything that catches their attention. Each movement of his knees created seismic disturbances. Each breath sounded like a windstorm. Come back, space guys. Come back. I should mention that Marcus's mother, a human female named Jennifer, was in another room doing something with fabric and a heating device called an iron. She remained completely unaware that an intergalactic military operation was falling apart approximately 30 feet from her position. This, I realized, was the true horror of humanity. Their young were uncontrollable forces of nature, and their adults simply accepted this as normal. Commander Zirth and his remaining warriors sprinted toward the extraction coordinates, which unfortunately placed them directly beneath what my database identified as a dining table. Marcus, still in pursuit, reached the table edge and paused. His tiny human brain was calculating something, and I felt genuine concern for the Kraxxon survivors. Space guys hiding. Marcus announced, his voice booming like thunder across the battlefield that was actually just a moderately clean living room. The child dropped to his stomach, which created enough air displacement to scatter several Kraxxon soldiers like leaves in a hurricane. His face appeared at ground level, one enormous eye peering into the shadows beneath the table. That eye, easily the size of a small vehicle from the Kraxxon's perspective, blinked with devastating slowness. I see you. Marcus declared with the pride of someone who had just solved a complex puzzle. Commander Zirth made a command decision that would later be studied in military academies across the galaxy, as either brilliant improvisation or complete madness. He ordered his troops to play dead. 37 elite warriors, trained to face down enemies 10 times their size, collapsed in synchronized precision. They lay motionless on the carpet, their armor systems powered down to minimal signatures, their breathing reduced to barely detectable levels. Marcus's hand reached under the table, fingers splayed like the legs of some cosmic spider. He patted the carpet, searching. His index finger came within millimeters of Sergeant Thorne, close enough that she could feel the heat radiating from his skin. Then, from somewhere in the house, a sound cut through the tension like a plasma blade through butter. Marcus. Snack time. The effect was immediate and profound. The child's head snapped up so fast that it created a minor sonic disturbance. His face transformed from focused hunter to excited consumer in approximately 0.3 seconds. Snack. Marcus shrieked, abandoning his pursuit entirely. He scrambled to his feet and thundered toward the kitchen, each footfall registering on my seismic monitors. The silence that followed was broken only by Lieutenant Briggs, still stuck to the wall, whimpering something about early retirement. Commander Zirth slowly rose to his feet, his armor scuffed and his dignity severely damaged. He surveyed his scattered forces with the expression of someone who had just survived something that should not have been survivable. Status report, he commanded, his voice lacking its usual authority. The responses came in gradually. 17 warriors were combat effective. 12 were experiencing various levels of trauma. 8 were still covered in biological materials that nobody wanted to discuss. 3 remained captured, though Marcus had apparently forgotten about them in his enthusiasm for snacks. Sir, his second-in-command ventured carefully, perhaps we should reconsider our strategic assessment of this species. Before Zirth could respond, my sensors detected an anomaly. The 3 captured warriors, the ones Marcus had been playing with, were moving. Private Kellen had managed to free himself from the wall. He dropped to a bookshelf, then to a lower shelf, then finally to the floor. He recovered Lieutenant Bricks from the building blocks and Sergeant Thorne from near the stuffed animal. They limped back toward the strike force, their armor malfunctioning, their weapons depleted, their pride non-existent. Report, Commander Zirth demanded. Kellen saluted, though his arm shook with the effort. Sir, I have completed a comprehensive threat assessment of the juvenile human entity. And? Sir, we cannot defeat it. We cannot reason with it. We cannot even escape it effectively. The creature operates on logic systems that our tactical processors cannot predict. It is faster than our maximum combat speed. It is stronger than our heaviest weapons. And sir. Kellen's voice dropped to a whisper. It thinks we are toys. The word hung in the air like a death sentence. Toys. The Kraxxon Dominion, conquerors of Galaxies, had been reduced to playthings. From my observation post, I watched as Commander Zirth's helmet displays flickered. His tactical processors were running probability simulations, and every single one returned the same conclusion. Mission failure. Complete and absolute mission failure, but then something interesting happened. Something that would change the Kraxxon Dominion forever. Marcus returned from the kitchen, his face now decorated with what appeared to be peanut butter and jelly. In his hand, he clutched a juice box, which he was attempting to drink while simultaneously running. The laws of physics and motor control suggested this would end poorly. It did. Marcus tripped over his own feet. A maneuver that seemed physically impossible yet happened with depressing regularity to human children. The juice box flew from his hand, sailed through the air in a perfect arc, and landed directly on top of the Kraxxon strike force. Grape-flavored liquid, enhanced with vitamins and approximately 47 types of sugar, flooded the area. Warriors scattered in all directions, slipping on the sticky substance, their armor systems shorting out from the unexpected moisture. Commander Zirth found himself waist-deep in purple fluid, his weapon systems offline, his dignity completely destroyed. He watched as Marcus, now crying from his fall, was scooped up by his mother Jennifer. Oh sweetie, are you okay? Jennifer examined her son for injuries, completely oblivious to the military disaster unfolding at floor level. Did you spill your juice? That's okay, we will clean it up. She carried Marcus out of the room, leaving behind 40 Kraxxon warriors, 3 captured soldiers, 1 destroyed carpet, and approximately enough grape juice to fill a small swimming pool by their standards. In the silence that followed, Commander Zirth did something unprecedented. He started laughing. It was a small sound at first, then it grew. Soon, his entire strike force was laughing, the sound of soldiers, who had just survived something so absurd that their military training had no protocols for processing it. New standing orders, Zirth announced through his laughter. Earth is classified as a restricted zone. No Kraxxon forces are to make ground contact with human populations, especially their offspring. We will list them in our database as a Category 12 threat. His second-in-command looked confused. Sir, we do not have a Category 12 threat classification. We do now, Zirth confirmed. It stands for species too dangerous to engage, not because of their weapons or their armies, but because their young are forces of pure chaos that operate outside all known tactical parameters. The strike force managed to extract themselves from the juice-soaked carpet. They recovered their captured comrades. They activated their emergency recall beacons and vanished in pulses of blue light, leaving behind only tiny footprints in the sticky residue. From my observation post, I filed my report to the Galactic Council. I detailed everything. The failed invasion. The Toddler. The sneezing incident. The juice box catastrophe. I concluded with a recommendation that humanity be left alone until their young evolved into something less terrifying. The Council accepted my report with unusual speed. Within a cycle, Earth was surrounded by warning beacons. Every spacefaring species received the same message. Warning, unpredictable juvenile entities present. Approach at your own risk. As for Marcus, he never knew that he had single-handedly defeated one of the Galaxy's most feared military forces. His mother cleaned up the juice, gave him another snack, and put him down for a nap. Just another normal day in Suburban, Ohio, and the Kraxxon Dominion. They returned to conquering other civilizations, but they added a new regulation to their military handbook. Chapter 47, Section 12, Subsection 4. If the target species produces offspring capable of treating armed soldiers as toys, immediately abort mission, and request diplomatic relations instead. I heard that Commander Zirth retired shortly after, citing stress and a newfound appreciation for species that stayed their own size. He took up pottery, apparently. Makes tiny vases now. Very therapeutic. As for me, I got promoted. Turns out successfully documenting humanity's accidental military victory looks great on a performance review. They gave me a new assignment studying human behavior patterns. I declined. Some things are too dangerous, even for xenobiologists with 300 cycles of experience, because now I know the truth that the Kraxxons learned the hard way. Humans are not dangerous because of their weapons, or their technology, or their tendency to solve problems by hitting things until they work. Humans are dangerous because their children are essentially tiny natural disasters wrapped in sticky fingers and powered by juice boxes, and the adults just accept this as completely normal. And that, my friends, is way more terrifying than any weapon in the known universe.